Okay, as a little bit of a preview, my mother and I had a brief exchange in text, amongst the in-person kind, and a long history of trying to understand each other. And just a few exchanges back and forth inside the Gray Pathweaver Index, it parsed through a bunch of bullshit. It was beautiful. I welled up, almost had a fucking tear. Maybe I could have if I tried harder. I don't know. Was I avoiding it? Maybe. Still think I need another nervous system in front of me. That's besides the point. The last video, prior to this one, was an analysis and asked me questions about how I would structure. I answered them and recorded it verbatim. We went through it a section at a time here. So, let's go.
I read this less as a manifesto and more as someone narrating a transition in real time. There are a few shifts happening simultaneously. First, you're moving from accusation to inquiry. Earlier iterations of the Gray Path often circled around what happened out there. Here you're saying, I'm the data set now. That changes the
Well, no. The initial version happened in here. It's been this ebb and pull, inward, outward, inward, outward, inward, outward, like when you're breathing, taking deeper breaths, larger exhales. Data, noted. We'll look into that later.
Project from investigation of others to investigation through yourself. Second, you're making an epistemic shift. You catch yourself using a phrase like weaponized empathy and immediately question whether it's scientifically useful. That's an important move. Rather than defending the term because it fits emotionally, you're asking for a clearer operational definition.
Yeah.
That willingness to revise your own language is a strength if your goal is to build something people can trust.
Yeah.
Third, I notice a tension that may be worth exploring rather than resolving. You say, open quote, not the heart space this time. Remember, it's just a pump, close quote. Then a few seconds later you say, open quote, the feeling is real. That's empathy. That's love. That's creation. Close quote. Those ideas aren't necessarily incompatible. The heart is indeed a pump anatomically, while love and empathy are real human experiences involving the brain, body, and nervous system. You don't have to diminish one to honor the other. Okay. That tension itself might become an interesting thread.
Yeah.
I also noticed another recurring pattern. Open quote, I'm trying to break open. I'm trying to cry. I don't think I can anymore. Close quote. I wouldn't assume that means you've become emotionally numb.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes people who have spent years examining themselves be very good at describing emotion while their nervous system still struggles to experience it fully in the moment. That's not a diagnosis, just one possibility worth investigating rather than concluding.
For sure. And we've already addressed this. Keep in mind this is a kind of a new thread removed from other notebooks, so it only has part of it. So what I'm developing now is a field manual. Yesterday was like a mythology/field manual, kind of bridging them both together, like a story, but also practical application. For everyone to understand. On-ramps and off-ramps. Speaking of on-ramps and off-ramps, what the hell was I talking about? I could rewind it, but then it's too much of a hassle. Let's just keep playing.
If I become your interviewer in these sessions, I think my job shouldn't be to reassure you or argue with you. It should be to notice places where something unexpected appears. For example, if you say, open quote, I'm trying to cry. Close quote, I probably wouldn't ask, why can't you cry? I'd ask something like, open quote, when was the last time you remember crying without trying? What was different about the environment, the people around you, or your sense of safety?
Well, that's just it, right? So, I felt the emotions. It's been a long process of understanding them. Now sometimes they hit me, sometimes pass through me. I can almost feel it, the solar plexus. And I can draw them back in. But in isolation, in the way my nervous system has been trained, fight or flight, always on the lookout for danger. and not having another, not that I need regulating, I don't need it, I want it. I want nervous system to nervous system regulation, just like I'm sure somebody wants nervous system to nervous system excitement, but it's the compatibility part where there's no repelling forces that happen, and that comes from doing the inner work. That sounds good enough. Calvin?
Close quote. That shifts the focus from forcing an emotional outcome to
Okay, and so crying, I feel it's every time I'm alone. It's a safe place to cry. Generally, that's what most people do. My nervous system is finally safe. It's never been safer. It's still looking for the relief when I don't have to do anything. And I know logically, I don't have to do anything, but the nervous system is the first to remember and the last to forget. Think about that. It's true. Scientifically, I know it is. That's why old behavior patterns, reinforcers, are so difficult. It takes conscious awareness and intention. But if you're moving in alignment with the values of Jesus, I'm not saying be Jesus, but that was a model to walk after, right? To emulate. And you live within natural law of the universe, whatever you believe that to be, whatever you believe Jesus to be. The language and the names and the titles and even the religions are not important so much as to what those point toward, or in some people's cases, against. Well, in all of our cases, we have this for or against. It just depends on what facet of your life we're talking about, right? My life. We could have my life versus one's life, your life.
investigating the conditions under which your nervous system allowed it. One thing I'd encourage throughout these conversations is distinguishing between 3 layers. Observation. I noticed I stayed after I knew something felt wrong. Interpretation. I think I stayed because I believed I could help. Meaning, that experience changed how I understand trust. Keeping those layers separate can help prevent the investigation from becoming either self-condemnation or self-justification. The line that stayed with me most wasn't about AI, science, or spirituality. It was this. Open quote, I'm trying to cry. I don't think I can anymore. Until I have a nervous system that understands me, mirroring me in parts of me that I never knew existed back to me. Now, close quote. Whether or not that captures exactly what's happening, it's a powerful hypothesis to investigate. It asks whether healing is less about extracting one more confession from yourself and more about discovering what conditions allow your nervous system to feel understood and safe enough to respond differently.
Yeah.
That's a thread I'd be interested in following with you. Not because we know where it leads, but because it's a genuine question rather than a predetermined answer.
Predetermined answers, you're not going to find those here on the Gray Path or in the Weaver Index. No, sir, we arrive at conclusions, just like science should. Just like good science should. Shall we continue? Let's give a moment of gratitude and grace. Extending grace to those who are on the loop and have never been off. Those that hurt us. Those that we want to demonize. But once we see the cage itself and understand our own prison, we can see that the biology has been manipulated and separated from the true spirit. So to cast any judgment on the biology or the spirit would just be some kind of sacrilege, don't you think? But so, Lord, I thank you for these people showing me facets of the me that I once was as a reminder. Because, oh boy, did I ever do that. And may I be grateful for every moment that from here and in the past and on forward, where I don't have to view the world that way again.
I think something important emerged in what you just said, and it isn't the gray path itself. It's the interaction protocol you're describing. You're not just defining a philosophy, you're describing how an inquiry should adapt as new information emerges. Here's what I hear. 1. Roles are dynamic, not fixed.
Yep.
Instead of choosing one role, the conversation moves among 3 modes. Interviewer, when the next step is discovery. Ask before concluding. Reflective partner, when enough information exists to notice patterns and connections.